Welcome back. Getting you the latest now on the developments related to Donald Trump. Dhea is joining in our special segment, Trump Watch.
The big news this morning from the United States: a federal trade court has struck down the reciprocal tariffs that President Trump imposed on what he called Liberation Day, putting an immediate stop to the collection of a sweeping set of levies. The ruling from a 3-judge panel at the New York-based U.S. Court of International Trade came after several lawsuits arguing Trump has exceeded his authority and left the country's trade policy dependent on his whims. The other news that's making loud headlines, and it is billionaire Elon Musk at the center of it. Musk announces that his time as formal advisor to President Donald Trump is coming to a close, raising questions about the future of the Department of Government Efficiency effort he spearheaded. Meanwhile, President Trump is firing back at Wall Street's latest jab, the so-called taco trade, short for Trump always chickens out. The nickname reflects investor bets that Trump will not follow through on tough tariff threats. But Trump says his pullbacks are strategic, a way to gain trade concessions, not a sign of weakness. Let's listen to what he said.
Isn't that nice, chicken out? I've never heard that. You mean because I reduced China from 145% that I set down to 100 and then down to another number? And I said, you have to open up your whole country. And because I gave the European Union a 50% tax tariff, and they called up and they said, please, let's meet right now. Please, let's meet right now. And I said, okay, I'll give you till July 9. I actually asked them, I said, what's the date? Because they weren't willing to meet. And after I did what I did, they said, we'll meet anytime you want. And we have an end date of July 9th. You call that chickening out? Because we have $14 trillion now invested, committed to investing. 6 months ago, this country was stone cold dead. We had a dead country. We had a country people didn't think it was going to survive, and you ask a nasty question like that. It's called negotiation.
In a move drawing legal and institutional backlash, Trump said Harvard University should cap foreign student enrollment at 15%, ratcheting up his effort to force policy changes at the elite institution. Harvard University said the Trump administration's ban on enrolling international students is already causing harm and spreading fear, even though a judge has temporarily barred the order from taking effect. Let's listen to what the bite is.
We want to know where those students come. Are they troublemakers? What countries do they come? And we're not going to, if somebody is coming from a certain country and they're 100% fine, which I hope most of them are, but many of them won't be, you're going to see some very radical people. They're taking people from areas of the world that are very radicalized, and we don't want them making trouble in our country. These countries aren't helping us. They're not investing in Harvard and all of our, we are. So why would 31%, why would a number so big? I think, number one, I think they should have a cap of maybe around 15%, not 31%. We have people who want to go to Harvard and other schools. They can't get in because we have foreign students there. But I want to make sure that the foreign students are people that can love our country. We don't want to see shopping centers exploding. We don't want to see the kind of riots that you had. And I'll tell you what, many of those students didn't go anywhere. Many of those students were troublemakers.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the U.S. will revoke visas for Chinese students, escalating the Trump administration's push for greater scrutiny on foreigners attending U.S. universities. Rubio said in a post on X that students affected would include those with connections to the Chinese Communist Party or studying in critical fields. He also added that this would also include those who target American technology companies. Moving on, U.S. President Donald Trump said he told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that a military strike against Iran would risk disrupting efforts to broker a deal on Tehran's nuclear program. The U.S. president added that he believed a deal with Iran could be completed within the next couple of weeks and that talks had made a lot of progress. President Trump also said he's holding off on new sanctions against Russia in order to preserve the chance for a deal with President Vladimir Putin to end the war in Ukraine. Lastly, sources tell Bloomberg that the Trump administration is telling immigration officials to ramp up arrests to 3,000 per day with a goal of more than 1 million a year, a target that would significantly escalate the pace of detention. That's all for today. Now back to you.
Well, thank you so much for that, Dhea. But